Why is that?
I just never mastered roosters.
What about the cows?
Hmm?
What about the cows?
But the old bulls, they take their foot and they get a big clod of dirt and throw it up in the air. Dirt. You know,
That's awesome.
another foot, dirt. Really low, you know. And then's when you know you don't go fucking around going in the field. We had this Ayrshire, had horns. We measured them. They were 26 inches long and about this big at the base because
Holy
we
shit.
had the vet come and cut them off because he would just stick those horns into a gate and throw it to Kingdom Come, you know. He weighed 2,600 pounds. He was as big as Tom, the big Belgian that what's his face had?
Reba?
No,
Fred
Fred Scott
Scott.
that taught us to drive.
Yeah.
But this 2,600 pounds of bull behind two horns that were about this long and about this big at the base. So that's serious business. You know, I mean that animal can break down you know. Outside of a rhino, I don't really think there's anything, you know.
Damn.
But he would do that thing. So one time Kirby and I were out in the field, and what we used to do is there'd be a big field, and we had electric fence, a little lightweight wire fence with these little metal poles that we welded. We didn't buy them like Mom does, the plastic ones. We welded a 1/4-inch piece of steel. We pushed a nail through an insulator, and then welded the nail to the post, and then welded an old sickle blade cutter, which is V-shaped, upside down to the point it was down, so it had two little ears sticking out. We welded that on the bottom, and that was in fact, I welded so many of those one day that I got the gas from the welder and the welder flash. I didn't use my helmet well enough. I got retinal burns, and I couldn't see for a couple of days very well. Anyway, we used to make these old fence posts, and then we'd move that electric fence up we'd turn the fence off, and then we'd move it up about 30 feet, and then the cows would eat that fresh grass. But they didn't get to go over the whole other field and stomp it all down with the old bulls over there. So he gets pissed off. My brother made a very bad decision. He figured, well, I'll scare him off. And he took his pellet rifle, which he had with him, and he shot the old bull in the butt. And then, all of a sudden, the old bull turns around. He trots back and forth, raises that head up and swings those big horns around. Then we realize that there's one little thin millimeter diameter wire that no longer has electricity on it
Oh, shit.
between us and 2,600 pounds of angry bull. And we have a pellet rifle. And the worst of it was, the only tree in the pasture was on the bull's side of the fence. There's no way we're getting to that tree. So at that point, Kirby and I start negotiating. We start suing for peace. We're trying to calm that bull down because, oh my God, that dude was mad.
I guess he didn't get you, did he?
He didn't get me. That's like the old story about Jim Bridger, the famous old trapper and guide out west. He had a habit of telling stories. So one night he was talking about how he had his gun, his rifle, and his pistol, and his hatchet, and his knife. And so he shot a whole bunch of Indians, and there's too many of them. He ran out of ammunition with his rifle, you know, and then so he shot some more with his pistol, and there were still more coming, and so they kept coming, and then he laid into a bunch of them with his hatchet, but finally he lost his hatchet. Then finally with his knife and everything, and finally he lost his knife, and they still kept coming. And then he sat down there by the campfire. He took another shot of out of the whiskey jug. And somebody said, "Well, what happened, Jim?" He said, "Well, damn it, they killed me."